Alright, it is time to draw once more. I'm gonna just finish up this demo sketch really quick and then we'll go to the other one. So, this is Kirby asked to set this up. I'm going to do a little bit of a demo here. Draw what's going on. Oh, I should probably have my OBS open so I can actually see chat. Hey, it's Cha. Thank you. Thank you for the thing. Hey, Turtle. Hey guys. How's it going? I completely forgot. I was just looking at the drawing that I'm doing instead of doing the thing that I should be doing, which is this. Yeah. That cloud is going. Cloud is going. But I just want to finish up this like demo for how the avatar would work for Kirby, just because. Ask me. Thank you. I told you. B. We'll get to the B. We'll get to the B. I promise. Oops. Hello, Turtle and YouTube. Yes, YouTube is here also. I should be using, well, so here, this is basically the breakdown of how the animation works for my PNG tuber, right? We have a GIF that blinks and it doesn't have their mouth moving. And we have a blink that thing, what's it called? 99 times better. Hey, look, Cha's saying hi to Twitch too. Thanks for coming by, Cha. I appreciate it. We're getting there, we're getting there. I do want to turn on, yes. So all I'm doing right now is I am taking this drawing and I'm just modifying it to do the blink animation really quick. This is just like a demo to show what it works and how it works like. Probably I could have just drawn the line instead. Since it is just there. Music might be a bit loud. Alright, that's fair. Let's put it down a bit. Making a point to be your #1 stream spammer. Yeah, right. Has to wake up and work in 3 hours? No! I wish our schedule lined up better. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming by though. I know, what's it called? Shoot. I wish I did. I'm thinking about, okay, so I remember ages ago Turtle was talking about how I should do a MS Paint stream. And I'm thinking that maybe what I'm going to do is do what's it called? The Dream appreciates your effort. Girly has a 7 to 3 date job. I'm devastated. I know. And you're 12 hours off. Like you are diametrically opposed to myself, which is unfortunate. But what's it called? Yeah, so the MS Paint stream, I'm thinking I might do a 24-hour MS Paint stream. 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. No. And I'm streaming at midnight for you, basically. You should sleep. I just feel so bad because we don't get to talk anymore. I feel like it'll be a great clickbait title. It'd be like, yeah, 24-hour MS Paint stream. This streamer drew for 24 hours in MS Paint until they went crazy or something. Dichotomy is like two fucking, what's it called? Like two separate standards, I think is what dichotomy is. And then, what's it called? Diametrically is like at the opposite ends. Yeah, I think Ski Trail has never been good. That's not, no! I would stream earlier or later. I don't know. Depends. 12 to 13 hour time difference. It is insane, yes. It is unfair. Okay. So now we need to do another one here. Because there needs to actually be one more. That needs to go inside of that. Thank you. 1 copy 3. This is going to be fun to deal with. Yeah, thank you. 1 a.m. gang. See, all of my viewers are also watching me to go to sleep, so... I am unpopular with Americans, probably because I hate capitalismo. Okay, so I want to put this one here. Because what I want to do is I want to draw this line kind of in between this. I don't want to draw the same halfway line. We want to make it look like it's popping up faster. So we want to be above this line. Bees, bees, bees. Good luck with stream again. Thank you. Mwah, mwah. Night, night, night. Yeah, that's about as far as I had gotten, I'll be honest with you. So you're on the same page as I am. The idea is quite literally, I'll draw an MS Paint for 24 hours until I lose my mind. There was nothing else. right, let's see how this plays. I think that's pretty good. All right, the only thing I want to do now is I want to take the eyes and put them on a separate layer. Oh, wait. Control X. And the reason why I want to put them on a separate layer is I want to bring them in through here. And what we're going to do is we're going to mask them. And why are we doing this? How many bits be to draw using only the mouse? For the MS Paint stream, I don't know if I can even draw in MS Paint yet. I'll be honest. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'll do like some tests, but I'm thinking probably at the end of July, I'll do the 24-hour stream. Hey, how's it going, Charma? Good to see you again. Thanks for coming by. Right now we're doing a little bit of like avatar animation for Herbie. Just like as a test thing. They haven't been able to talk to me and I feel really bad. So I want to give them something as an idea of what it would look like. And also maybe recommend that they get the person who did their other character. That'd be super late. I know. I don't have to, right? But I still want to do a good job. So, oopsies. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a mask on this, wherever this line is. And the reason why I'm doing this is because to make the talking one, I want to just like grab these eyes and shift them over. So it's easier to just mask this shit out. Layer mask, mask selection. Cool. So now it's functionally no different than it was before. But when I take this entire scene and I copy it over to the next thing, wait, this isn't the official thing? No, it's not. We haven't been able to chat about anything yet, so. I hope so too, because they have a reference that they gave me, right? And it seems like it was done by someone who is like more intensely aware of how to do like a Cars persona sort of a deal. So I want to see if maybe I give them the process by which to do it, and then they can take it to their other artists and commission them to do it, right? That's the plan, at least. We'll see. It's kind of up in the air. I don't know if I'd be able to do it for a price point that they want. I'm probably thinking just like $100, but I don't know what the quality would be, right, for that. So that's why I'm a little bit worried. And we're gonna mask. Where is the mask? Somewhere. Here, mask. Mask selection. Bam. There's actually nothing else I need to do. So that one doesn't need to get changed. But I do want to kind of still replace it, right? Just for the sake of consistency. Okay, let's take a look. On average, a person blinks every 3 to 4 seconds, right? More or less. This, I gotta fix this shit. 1 second. I'm on the wrong layer? I'm on the wrong layer. Oops. Cool. Okay, so once this one is done, what we do is we copy this animation folder and we make a new one. And we call this one speaking. And this one is going to be staring. So we can hide that one. We want to keep all of the timings the exact same for this one. But we want to do a couple of things a little bit different, right? I want to go ahead and what I should be doing with this mask is instead masking out this whole area, because that'll let me just move it around without having to worry about it. Yeah, it doesn't matter all that much, I'll be honest. And this one never needed a mask. So the first thing we want to do is we want to move the eyes over so it looks like they're talking to the screen. So we can do this by just kind of dragging them over to make it look more at the person. Oops, I forgot that I need to grab something else. Probably the most important aspect of it. So we can just copy and then oops, paste. And what we can do is we can just drag this onto here, and I can get rid of this original one. Okay. It's an interesting thing. It's an in-between though, so I'm not too worried. That one doesn't matter. And turn off that one. So now it looks like this. Right? And the next thing we need to do and modify is going to be adjusting the mouth section. And so they have the bumper as being the thing. So the mouth is limited by the bumper. So what we can do, right, is we can take some, like, apply this sort of stuff. And because it's exactly the same, we can just make like a general mask. So all we need to do is change one, and then we can like copy and paste above the other ones. So they have to go and stream it. Give me a little bit. Ooh, okay, so update on my wall. It's not getting fixed today. Well, it's fixed, but they need to wait for the property management to come in and paint it. Which they're like, maybe they'll come in tomorrow. And I'm like, fuck. So he can't fix the wall until they've come in and painted it. And they haven't come in to paint it yet, so he can't fix the wall. So it's going to be like more than a week. And they told me they'd get it fixed the next day. That's fine. But when the guy shows up again, I'm going to be like, next day, huh? Next day, huh? Also, my dishwasher that I never use, by the way, I never use my dishwasher. I always wash my dishes by hand, just the way I was kind of just raised. And I don't make enough dishes to justify using a dishwasher. So, my dishwasher is now backing up. There's some foul smelling liquid in it, and it smells awful. But yeah, I'm just gonna fuck with them a little bit. We put in an order for that. So we'll see. We will see. Whew, what was I talking about? Right, I was talking about this. At some point, this is my zoom button. Okay, cool. So this is going to be able to go all the way over stuff, right? Now I'd like to stretch it out a little bit. Let's give a nice view of Maho sitting by the door instead of being at his position. I've never agreed with a take anywhere in my life. This speaks to my core. Which part? Me being slightly petty? Or the washing dishes by hand sort of a deal? Hand washing dishes. It's true. Honestly, I think based, even though, okay, so let's be real here. The dishwasher being able to do things at a higher temperature is better for like killing germs, bacteria, and stuff like that, as well as degreasing things. So the dishwasher realistically does a better job than you do at cleaning dishes. But also, it's a lot of water to wash one dish, right? And I have to rinse them off anyway, so I might as well just do it by hand. Anyway, the reason why I even opened up my dishwasher to find this out was that sometimes I will use when I have a party or something and I have a lot of dishes, right? I'll use my dishwasher as a drying rack to just put the plates in there while I wait for the, what's it called? Put the plates there while I wait for son of a duck them to dry off enough. So because my towel gets really, really fucking wet, right? Trying to dry all of them. Anyway, I open it up and I'm like, that smells fucking awful. What the hell is that smell? There's something there. So I'm like, okay, well, I never use this thing. Let me just try starting it and then stopping it to see if it'll drain. Doesn't do anything. Let me try holding the cancel button until it drains, because I noticed afterwards the drain button didn't do anything. And so I'm just like, I guess I'll put in a maintenance request for this. It smells like shit. It smells awful. Anyway, as we can see, I have no idea what I'm doing. So that's fine. At the same time, I want to take this and bring this down a little bit more. Because I might want to make it look like it's bending outwards, right? Yeah, I don't know what it is. Sometimes, like, especially when there's like plumbing issues in the rest of the building, certain appliances get fucked up. For example, my toilet, right? I've explained this before, but when the people above me flush their toilet, what happens is the water drains a little bit from my toilet, right? And it makes like a gurgle sound, which unfortunately scares the shit out of Maho every time, right? And so sometimes in the morning he'll wake me up and be like, hey, there's something scary going on. And I'm like, that's just the toilet water, my guy. But he's trembling, so I have to comfort him in the morning, and I'm so tired. But that's not a big deal in the long run. But there's nothing they can do to fix that. That's just how the building was made. When I'm looking at the reference that he has, looks like the teeth sort of start here. And they go all the way to the edge. Maho, that's it. Come here. Maho, you will come here. Down. Down. Good boy. There you go. Relax, okay? Take a chill pill. It's one thing to let me know that there's something wrong. It's another thing to not shut up about it. Can't be like that. Something like this is what I'm thinking of. Another give the baby the treats. Alright. Good boy. Space out in peace. Charge that much rent. It's okay, so you're gonna think this is insane, Kit. Because this is the cheapest rent in the city, basically. Well, it's the cheapest rent in the city where you're not gonna get robbed or like your house broken into. The only cheaper rent you would really find would maybe be like 1,000 or 800. And those are in neighborhoods where you are going to get stabbed or there's going to be like a push of drugs onto you, right? No, I live in like the major city. In like the second biggest city in Texas. What is the top 10 cities in Texas? In Texas population. Because I'm in Dallas. Houston, San Antonio, Dallas. Drats, we're number 3. So I'm in like the 3rd most populated city. Those are just cities. New York is even worse. If you're in New York, for an apartment smaller than mine, you're probably paying I want to say 3,000 for like a studio apartment. What is the looking up rents in New York. New York average rent for 1,000 square feet. Yes, so average rent, according to Rent Hop, is between $4,000 a month, more or less. Looks like it. So between, oh Jesus Christ, 2,000. So 2,000 is about the lowest, more or less. And that's smaller, because I think mine is 1,400. I can't remember exactly. Let's check. What is my... What is my floor plan? My floor plan... Oh, it's actually like... It's actually 674 square feet. Let me adjust what I was saying. So 600 square feet. About 3,000. Yeah. I was pretty much bang on the money. Let's fucking go. Kents are in Tennessee, aren't they? Kansas? They're in Kansas. Now, don't get me wrong. There's definitely places in Texas where you can get like a farmhouse and you're paying like $200 a month, right? But that's a mortgage usually. There is some land that is cheap, right? But you'd have to live like places where you don't have internet. So I would not be able to stream from there. Most of Texas is not a farm, though. I think, unfortunately, the way we've been gerrymandered, the people that live in the rural areas have way more say than the majority of people who live in the cities. But it is what it is. That's going to get me on an entire topic about gerrymandering and how we've absolutely cucked our own political system by giving land more voting rights than people. But that's a different topic. That's not really related to rent. I don't know. All my friends are here. All my family is here. It's one of those things where it's like, I love where I live, right? I love like walking out in the sun and it being 90 degrees and feeling my skin crackle. Like I enjoy the food. I enjoy like the spaces. I wish I was a better force to like improve where I live rather than just like moving out. But I think if I could pick anywhere to move to, it might be like a Scandinavian country, maybe Canada or something. I don't know. Because everywhere that I would like to live that's like tropics or like hot and stuff, the rent is just like cost of living is weird. Political structures are also weird. Luxuries of life that I'm used to aren't there, stuff like that. It's a very unfriendly topic. We'll see, we'll see. I don't really want to move to, what's it called? Canada, right? Not because I don't like Canada. I'd love to visit Canada. But it's just like, I don't know, it's... like, you know, you love where you were born. You love where you grew up, right? Unless you've only had terrible experiences, then you can't wait to get out. But I haven't had just terrible experiences, right? I went to school here. I went to college here. I had my friends, my family, my grandparents, right? It's hard to feel the way I do. But I feel that way sometimes, where I don't want to leave, but I also don't want to stay. There's no good in between. The reference. Oh, for sure. The cost is just out of this world. Oh, weird. Okay, so all we really need to do is take this section that we're drawing on, like this. Control C. Let me go on to the next frame. And then we go on to the next frame. And we go on to the next frame. And we can merge this down. This one's not a big deal. And so now when we play this, that's the wrong button. I press K. So now it should look like their mouth is open. Cool. Nice. And if I was to shift this over to here, and then we start this from this section, visible, you should be able to see it like this. So they blink, and it doesn't go on because I didn't drag this out. Here we go. Oh my god. I forgot to do this. Blink, and then just look over, and then blink, right? And so the way this works is basically when it turns on, it'll be the exact same blink position every time. So you're just layering them on top of each other like this, so it looks horrifying. Except one of them's always turned on and off. And I can't just like turn it on or off, right? But they're blinking at the same time. So I don't know if that makes a ton of sense. But yeah. So let's go ahead and export both of these animation frames. Export animation as an animated GIF. Let's put this in a folder that needs to be done. Art projects. We'll see if this goes to full commission. Biblically accurate model. um, 1080. Silent and speaking. I don't know why it keeps... Am I at 6 frames per second? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm at 12 frames per second. Why is the FPS like that? I made a mistake. I've made a big oopsie. Mm-hmm. Yes, I would like to replace it because I did it wrong. Okay, let me just take a quick look at them. See if it's working okay. We can get... Should be good. Alright, that's more than fine. I'm gonna go ahead and file save. And that should take care of this. We can close that, we can get back to working on Bumble. Nice. Now we can finally do what we were supposed to be doing. This spot in the middle needs to get messed with a little bit. Let me just send this off to Herbie. With the template for what you need as far as frame goes. So you may want to look to someone more experienced with Cars. To snuff from a sketch. Alright. What was I doing? I should probably go get my medication. That's something that I should do. Yep. That tasted purple. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go grab my medication so I'm not distracted. Cloud textures also is the watercolor. No. This isn't watercolor. Why would it be watercolor? Sorry. Distracted. What? Are you guys talking about in Discord? What? To do that bit on... Oh, sorry, the cloud stuff. I'm so distracted. I'm gonna go get my medication really quick. I'll be right back. Is it weird that I kind of like the sugar capsule sort of coating that they put on those things? Like, it rather appeals to me for some reason. Alright. Yes, this is what we've done yesterday on the cloud. This dark bit in the middle here that I'm using as a cover for this was a bit more on the... On what? Oh, on the pills for medication stuff, right? Well, we're gonna do some more of it today. I just want to get this a little bit more taken care of because I don't really like the way that this is going. I need to do a couple things. Just a bit dark in the ways that I'm not looking to get. There you go, that looks a little bit better. Do Beauty please re-explain what you do? Yeah, I mean, like, that's literally all I'm going to be doing until I finish this. So, I don't know if I want to bring up my reference here. So it's, I don't know how easy or hard it is to see it on top. I don't want to just like, sheets. Because I can't just say like, oh, look at the reference. That's how you do it. Because obviously that's not like 100% fair, right? There's a lot of things that I'm doing as I'm studying and working with the reference where I'm trying to find the shapes and the patterns, and I'm trying to discover where it's good or bad, right? So I'm not like, what's it called? What's the last YouTube comment that I got, just in case? It was Sharma. Okay, cool. So what I was talking about while we wait for medication to kick in was I'm using the reference here, right? And the reference is going to tell me a couple of things, right? If I follow it literally, it's going to show me some forms to use, right? And those forms in the right place are going to get me so far, right? They're going to get me a good distance. What they're not going to do though, is that they're not going to take me the whole way. Because obviously if you look at the shape of the cloud that I have and the shape of the cloud that's up there, they're very different, right? They're not the same. So So what I need to be doing as I'm working with reference is from the parts that I can translate exactly, I need to be learning about what I can do when they don't match up, right? I need to like start to try to work in my brain some patterns, right? I need to think about how, okay, well, this isn't quite what I was expecting. How is this different? Why is this working this way, right? I need to guess and check as much as I can. I'm also using the lasso tool, right? But as I had explained prior, you can get the same effect with whatever, right? All you're looking for is a hard edge and a soft edge. As I'm looking at the reference, I don't know how easy it is to see the reference without covering up the cloud. Maybe I'll move this down here. That's the wrong thing. Where is my reference? This. Maybe I'll put this down here. Sure. So you can see it is the thing though, right? Because I need to zoom in and show you that I'm going to look at these shapes, right? So when I look at these shapes, I'm looking at what makes up these edges, right? And as I zoom in and take a look, we see that there's a hard edge on one side and then this kind of fades away, right? Hard edge fades away, hard edge fades away, hard edge fades away. Like there's this pattern of hard edges fade away. So when I'm looking at what kind of tools am I going to use, right? What kind of tools am I going to use? I can use anything as long as I can get a hard edge and fade away. So if I'm just using this airbrush, if you only have 2 brushes to do it, right? We have our fade away here. And then I can come in with my hard round and I can start drawing the shapes that I'm trying to get. And then I can start clearing away at the parts that I don't need anymore. Right? All I'm doing is drawing with transparency and the opposite of transparency, right? You can do this with an eraser also. Or if you're like, this is necessary, like what I'm doing is I'm erasing out to get the darkness and I am painting in to undo what I'm doing, right? So I'm just coming in here, I'm cleaning this up and you get that same edge, right? And so with this kind of technique, I would have to work front to back instead of back to front. Because there is no way for me to stop this airbrush from adding to that layer behind it. So I get this hard edge. This is just a demo to show that you can do this with any tool. Doesn't matter, as long as you have proper edge control, you'll be able to get this, right? With a soft brush and hard brush. Don't even really need an eraser. You just need 2 different colors, right? But you see, all I did was I cut out a shape, right? And so with the other ones, you'll see me get the lasso tool and we'll go from the back to the front. With this one, we're gonna have to go from the front to the back. Or with the lasso tool, I'm working from the back to the front. And with this one, I'm working from the front to the back. Because now I gotta come in here and do another edge, right? And we do the exact same thing. Oopsies. So you can see these exact same shapes. The only difference is going to be that of time and effort and doing all that stuff, right? So we're getting this exact same shape on a different scale, right? But this is something you can do in any program with any tools with whatever. The only thing you need to worry about didn't make sense to me either. All right. The only thing you need to be worrying about is edge control. If you have good edge control, you can do any pattern with any tools with any software, right? Even with MS Paint. That's why I'm saying, I don't know, I could probably draw in MS Paint as long as there's a soft brush and a hard brush. A lasso tool would be very nice, right? Because with a lasso tool, I can just come in here, draw my shape with a lasso tool, come in with my soft brush, my airbrush, get my secondary color, bam, like in 2 strokes, almost the same effect, right? So it is one of those things where tools will make things faster, but it's not impossible to do something without the tool. And so when we look at reference, the way we use reference is we want to find places where we can do a one-to-one, right? Because we're going to learn by copying, and then we're going to do an attempt. And then we're going to have to assess, did that attempt fill the same effect as before, right? So up here, I kind of want to mess with this a little bit because when I'm looking at my reference in sort of the similar spot, let's see if I can, in the similar spot, let's see if I can grab it. So this section right here is more or less the inspiration behind this section up here, right? And when I have them close, I can compare and contrast, and I can say, you know what? I think that this needs to come back a little bit, right? I think this is a bit too sharp. And as I'm watching my big screen to find out if it's going, I'm also looking at my reference to see if I'm getting closer to that. Cool. Mixer brush is the exact same thing as using a soft brush and then like color picking into the same place. So I'll do an MS Paint challenge for the server. I think that would be miserable for a lot of people. I think Magma is enough of a downgrade for a lot of people to be able to do this, that sort of thing. If people want to do Magma, there's nothing I can do to, for MS Paint Challenge, there's nothing I can do to stop them. But I'm certainly not going to like, everybody, we're drawing MS Paint today. I feel like that would be miserable for a lot of people. And when I come in, I'm probably going to do a Gaussian blur for the entire layer, just to get a little bit of that kind of effect going. But then how do I apply this to something else, right? Advanced line carving exercise. It basically is. The more you get into drawing and the more you get into art, the more you realize it's all kind of the same, right? All you're doing is creating an illusion of what is in front and what is behind, right? This cloud is creating this illusion of what is in front and what is behind by having the tips of whatever is stepping out be darker than the main mass of the body. And so this hard line emphasizes what is in front of something else. So that's what we're kind of grabbing when we're looking through here. If I'm using this section here as my main reference, right, for this section over here that I'm drawing on, then we're going to see there's not like a whole bunch of like one-to-one exact covers. Like this shape here, you could say arguably matches up with this shape here, sort of, right? It's kind of in the same place. Probably do with like a little bit of touch of darker spots and stuff. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come over here. I'm going to grab my lasso tool. And I'm going to grab my soft round. I'm gonna come in, add a little bit of darkness until I can see that shape. And then I'm going to back off and I'm going to add another shape. And we're going to do the same thing. Hey, how's it going, Zoppy Has Pants? I think I killed someone on artfight. They fucking died so hard. The person who commented isn't even the person I attacked. Okay. That's nice. I think. This is my first year doing artfight. I have no idea what you're talking about. I appreciate the enthusiasm though, I think. I want to get this section to be a little bit darker. I don't necessarily want to grab this layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my mixer and I'm going to just come in and blend it out a little bit. The one attack, that attack was so peak they died. That's good, I guess. I got an attack really early on that I still haven't done. I need to go back and I need to finish it. That's what I'm doing after this. We're going to be doing some revenges in time. That's pretty cool. Nice. Going to try the MS Paint drawing. Sure. That sounds like a fun thing to try. Oh my gosh. I gotta really think about what I'm doing here. You already tried it a while back? Yeah? How'd it go? I'm sure it went well. I'm sure it was great. Shared it to the server. Let me see. I want to see what's going on in the server. Aw, a Celebi. I like it. Nice. I think one thing is for sure. I think it looks really good. I wouldn't be much of an artist if I didn't recognize stuff based on the bare minimum. I like to see things in clouds a lot. Still laugh at it to this day. That's always nice. It's always good to be able to laugh at what you've done and drawn. I think the people who are miserable because they're like, oh, this was so shit, they're kind of missing the point, which is you learn something new when you do it. There is a piece that I was looking at that I saved for reference for later that looks so has beautiful clouds, right? And it's because they have like a great texture brush, and they really know how to balance that blue color with that white color. So I really want to do something like that. Maybe I'll post in the server later. What are you doing, buddy? Okay, you're having a rough time with all the sounds. Let's put some TV on. Put some TV on for the doggo. You know how kids are, you say they always want to be watching shows. Justin Wong said it best. You need to get washed in order to get clean. That is such an inspirational quote by Justin Wong. I need to have that, like, I need that framed. I need to find somebody who's really good at calligraphy to have it written down. Because it's so true. It is so true and based of him. Baby shark, do 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 do. Baby shark. No, wait, you can't do that to me. How dare you? How dare you? Look at you. To me. To me. You come to me on the day of my dog's birthday. And you baby shark me to distract me live on stream in front of tens of people. Ah. No. Maho's birthday's on the 28th. When is the 28th? So 28th is Saturday. Maybe we'll do a birthday party for Maho. 28th is Monday. That'll be a great community draw event. It's Maho's birthday. Draw him. Gun pointed at viewer. I like that. We just randomly take turns to get on Blue Sky. What do you mean? As soon as I finish this, it's going to Blue Sky, as well as all the other places that it needs to go. Actually, I think this is better served as... it'll be this week, then me next. What? What do you mean? I still don't understand what you mean by that. I'm on Blue Sky almost every week, I think. Usually? Ish? More or less? Probably? Cool, I guess. Really wish that was a little bit better. I mean, that's fair. Blue Sky isn't exactly... Well, to me, it's not super engaging, but I know a lot of people that do find it engaging. So, I don't know. Hard to tell, I guess. I didn't find Twitter super engaging either, I'll be honest. Right now what I'm trying to do is find a way to replicate this sort of effect that I'm seeing, where the tiny corners of the clouds are way darker, right? So I'm thinking it might be better to do like this, right? And then come over it with a different one, get a different angle of it, and then have like a brighter. I don't know, I'm still trying to find an answer to that kind of a thing. So you can't just be coming in here with this, making it darker. Maybe it is. Maybe I should be looking at the inverse. Have you seen what Grok has been doing? I have not seen what Grok has been doing. What has Grok been doing? Is Grok woke? Caveman after waking up. Grok is woke. Before to see that an artist I deeply look up to and study uses a program called Paint Tool Sci. I've heard of Sci before. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Is it just like... Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. This person makes the best illustrations on Instagram, but uses basically Krita from Wish. Oh yeah, Pink Tool Side. I've heard. I know what that is to a degree. Oh, it absolutely does. Yeah. No, the tools will make things easier, but only if you know what you're doing. Because when a tool makes your work faster, it can also destroy your work way faster too. You don't think you could pay to use paint tools high? I have a similar feeling with Krita. So many people are jumping onto the horse game bandwagon. It's insane. Oh, right, I forgot. I got him. So the horse game is it's an anime horse girl racing game, sort of like NFL Trainer, where you're training the stats, but you don't actually have an impact in the race, sort of a deal. You know what I mean? And there's so many people playing it. It's so funny. For like an anime weeb game. An anime weeb gacha game, by the way. They should specify. It's just been really funny to see the people that are playing it just not be traditionally at gacha game players. I watched one streamer be like, "What is this? I can't turn any of these into glue? What?" Because someone had told them it was like a horse racing game. $10,000 likes for fan art. I don't know if gacha games are really that good for likes and fan arts. Besides, the likes don't really mean anything to me. It's just a matter of doing stuff I enjoy. The interactions are way more important to me than the actual likes, I guess. This is the button that oh my god. What am I doing? Oh my god. Okay, so I hit it again. I don't get it. Slaving away for algorithm engagement is exhausting. Is it really? Yeah, see, because like I can't keep up with that level of capability, I guess. People are just too good, I'm afraid. And I am not like them. Kendrick Lamar voice, not like us. Now like them, the best indie artist out there. I disagree heavily. There's a lot of fantastic artists. Just because I spend more time drawing than looking at other artists does not mean that they are not out there. Jeez. We disagree. I know. I know. I know because I said so. My sources, I made it the fuck up. Oh, I'm using a blend brush. That's why shit is looking weird. Let's try a different approach. I'm going to use the lasso tool, but now I'm going to lower it to this much opacity. I'm going to This doesn't do anything. I didn't like that at all. I don't like those at all. I'm not getting the shapes that I want, and I don't know why. Well, it is Castlevania. Yeah. Probably why it's giving me those vibes, if I had to guess. Hey, I'm telling you, the human mind is incredibly linked to the processing of music in memory. Sounds play such a big part in our memory that it's a huge link between Alzheimer's and recollection. My left hand to have a Symphony of the Night on Steam. Someone could make that happen, probably. Ooh. All right, first time chatter. Bam! Look at that. Check that out. Mods, kill this man. Mods, beat him up with hammers. Thank you. I think that's my favorite thing. That's definitely a power that won't go to my head. Surely that would never be something that I abuse. Honestly, I'm on the fence of just like banning people because it's so much fun to just say like, mods, get that man. No, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Let's try to do an inverse. Look, this is back. 1 second. They were not knocking on my door. Mahal is just being a pet. Mahal, come here. I was sitting the other day wondering why I've read 0 comics in 2 months. I check again and find out that I've been coming to these changes. Well, if that's not a good, what's it called? Endorsement of the streams, I don't know what is. What are you doing? This is my drawing pen. You can't have my drawing pen. Okay. Me too. Blend this out a little bit better. Picture of him holding a paintbrush. Ah, yeah, no, that was when he was a little baby boy. See if we can get his face in here. Uh-huh. Can you hold this? Hold it? No, it's too far down for him. No, unfortunately. See. You're gonna need to sit down. You're gonna get down. Down on the floor. Down. There you go. You're okay. You're okay. You're just a little baby boy, though. He does pay taxes now, chat. He's a 56-year-old man. He's so grumpy. He's so grumpy all the time. Unimaginably grumpy. So much of the time. I don't like those. Mild dog fan, but Maho is winning me over. He does that effect on a lot of people, actually, surprisingly enough. So one of my best friends is terrified, well, was terrified of dogs because he's from a low-income neighborhood. And usually the people who have dogs in low-income neighborhoods are using them as like attack dogs, like guard dogs and stuff. So if you see a dog, it's because it's gonna fucking kill you, right? That's why people tend to be afraid of dogs when they're from lower income positions. They said that Maho has cured him of his fear of dogs because he's just so dumb. Same thing with another one of my friends is absolutely terrified of dogs, even like scared of Maho when he was a puppy. But after, you know, not living in the dorms with him, but like coming over to the apartment every day as when he was a puppy, and then just, you know, seeing him grow up and everything, he's just like, it's completely 100% changed the way I look at dogs. Now I love seeing Maho's pictures and everything. So just like one positive influence is all you really need to change your opinion on something. And that doesn't matter if it's like LGBTQ people, dogs, like cultures, different techniques, right? All it really matters is to have one good positive connection, and it can completely change your entire worldview. I think it's really important when people come together that we understand that what's more important than giving people the facts and the logic of stuff is to steer the elephant, right? I don't know if I've used this example before, but there is a description of human beings, right, that describes them as elephant riders, right? We like to think we're in control of the elephant, right? And, you know, for some things we can direct the elephant towards stuff, but ultimately we're going to do what our base desire is. We're going to do the thing that we want to do. That is the elephant. The elephant is the thing that we want to do. There's not a ton of ways you can tell an elephant to do something if it doesn't want to do that thing. So you're not going to get someone to do something unless they really want to, or unless, you know, you're threatening their life, which one is obviously not good. But if we win someone over emotionally, like 9 times out of 10, we'll win them over. Because people are silly, right? People are not the monsters they make themselves out to be. People just want what every other person wants, realistically. conditioning them to an early childhood and instilling deeply rooted sense of helplessness. They were made submissive their entire adult life. Yes. I mean, so this is also how they do people, right? Because realistically, right? Not, well, to bring up slaves, right? Slaves were so prevalent for so long, especially in the United States, because there was just like an entire culture around breaking the human spirit. And there's some documents out there, right? There's an entire guidebook that some Southern plantation owner wrote on how to break the human spirit, right? I highly recommend that everyone reads it. This is something that my former employer, when I worked at the gym at my university, they recommended I read, because it's something they recommended their son to read, right? To show you that people are going to find a way to tear you down. Here in South Africa? Yeah. I don't know what slavery was like in South Africa. Realistically, I don't really know what slavery was like in America. I have some ideas, but it's hard to tell what is true and what is false at this point in the States because of the way they're trying to, on purpose, obfuscate this stuff. Seeing how 6% of slave owners had control of the whole country. Yeah. It's just because they felt like they were made to feel like it was just the way things were. They were made to feel like this is how life is. And it's better to accept it and be happy with what you have gotten in life than to try and fight for something better. And it's the exact same shit that they're feeding to people in the water fountains. Used to have a sign for like black people and white people, right? Here in the States, we're not even just like a couple generations separated from. See, I don't even know anything about the Epstein stuff. Because, like, I don't pay attention to that kind of junk. Not because I don't think it's important, right? But because it's just like, there's other things I've been doing. I think that was what we've been talking about. The Epstein thing, as far as I know, has been Jeffrey Epstein had like a list of celebrities and powerful people that would come to his island to do pedophilic things, which is not good. And the controversy has been who has been on that list, right? That's the Epstein thing that I know about. I don't know if that's different from the Epstein thing that you're talking about. If you do this drawing, yeah. Sometimes definitely having a fresh start after trying something can give us a direction that we didn't think. That's also what thumbnailing is supposed to do. We also acquire a sense of learned helplessness. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish the human spirit was strong and unbreakable from the beginning, and wasn't something that had to be learned, had to be fought for. I wish we could critically think without ever, you know, thinking about the consequences, right? We didn't have to teach that. People would just automatically do it. We don't live in that world, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, right? Maybe because we are not born perfect from the start, that are we allowed to grow and be so much more than we ever could imagine. Hot take, I don't think civilizations would form if that were the case. Oh, if we were just like perfect from being born? I don't think it would. You're right. I agree with that. I think it does take a lot of trial and error for this sort of stuff to happen. It's early humanoid creatures hundreds of thousands of years ago. Modern humans have existed on this planet for about 200,000 years, right? We've only had domesticated animals for the last 40,000 years at most. And we've only had agriculture for the last 12,000 years. And things keep escalating, right? Because it is a logarithmic growth, right? Civilization advances much quicker once it starts. So we'll see where things go. Some corruption, some evil mouthfuckers to fight the lions and the bears. I don't know about that. I don't think that would be correct, right? I think corruption is a symptom of people wanting more for themselves, right? And in a society where it becomes easy to short end somebody without thinking about them, it can be really easy to just not think about the people that you're harming. I don't think the people who are fighting the lions and the bears were evil. I think fundamentally that's just like a bad way to look at it, to be fair. let's fill this first. Oopsies. Wrong brush. Corruption came later. Definitely not all there. I would not thrive in the era of humanity. That's fair. I think I'd do alright for like 20 years and then die because I did something stupid. See how it's faded. The underside is brighter when you turn it around. With also an apocalypse, I'm cooked. I'm not seeing the end of the week. No, you'd be fine, hopefully. We'd always need a programmer, I think. Maybe? Oops. %100% done. Multiple chronic illnesses that need daily medication. That's not good. I'm sorry to hear that. I can see why you would think you were done. I respect your game. I apologize. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a little tummy hurt and I'm like, my life is over. So, big respect. Probably just 1 versus 100 horde zombie. Just do one of those classic hero moments at the end of the film. y'all can make it out of here. I'll make sure of it. Dies. He didn't even get us any time. What the hell? Hades orchestration. This is a bit of an inverse that I don't really like. I think I'd rather just make this darker. Right? That's the wrong way. Can you pretty please stream Hades? Sure, I can do that. In fact, why don't we do that for the last 2 hours? Because I think I'm pretty much done with this. All I'm going to do is add a little bit of a hue correction on top of this. We're gonna ignore that for a second here. We're just gonna pretend that doesn't exist. That is a really cool effect. What happens if I multiply it? Yo! That is sick! What the hell? Absolutely, it's gonna look even better when we add. Just like cycling through these to see what I like the most. Hard lights. That's pretty cool too. I like that. It does lower the visual of the whole thing. Bro, Bumble just blew up an entire nation or something. That's insane. Hard mix. Hard mix doesn't look too different because the colors are too different. Still the same. These look really cool. Thunderclouds, right? Divide. Divide's probably gonna be very similar. Saturation. The evil version, right? I think Divide is going to be pretty close. We were doing glow the whole time though. Yeah, I think add is gonna be the best. Personally, I think. Alright, so let's see what I can do here. I want to try and add a little bit more of like a red-ish color. So the problem here, I think, yeah. I'm trying to think of how I can do this, right? So I'm thinking that what I want to do is I want to create a mask from this. No. Selection from layer. Create selection. I tried warning them about the climate change. They didn't listen. It needed to be done. Inverse, and then we can delete everything here. That's not the correct thing that I wanted to do. Um, and then what I do from here is I lock the opacity. Like this. And I take this color and I fill, I think. I'm trying to find out how I can do this. This should... Son of a duck. Because what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is kind of no different than this one. Because what I'm trying to do is I want to copy the opacity charts, right? I want to copy the layer in like with the exact same opacity and everything onto like another layer and use that as a was it effect change, right? So if I come in here and I start drawing with this, I should be able to see red, but only in the places where I want it to be. That makes sense. So it shouldn't like overpower this. You should still be a little bit cool. But I would like to convert it into a layer mask. Trying to find out. Maybe it has to be unlocked to do it. Such a draft layer, such a lock layer. What do I do? Okay, let's undo until we... Yes. We don't need this one. This is the copy though. It's fine. I'm gonna turn this into... Because this has the opacity. I'm gonna give people how to turn layer into mask. This is not what I want. I want to take into a mask. This is not what I want. Turn layer with transparency into mask. That's great. Because the only thing I want to keep is the alpha channel, right? So I want to convert this alpha channel into a mask. I don't know what a reference layer is. What if I just do a layer mask? What does this do? This doesn't just indeed fuck all. CSP use alpha channel. Mask. There's got to be a way to do this. Because here's the problem, right? I only wanted to clip to the layer directly below it, and this is creating a clipping chain, right? So maybe, because clipping is basically what we would do, right? But the problem is because this is like clipping through 2 layers. This but only to layer directly below. Maybe so use a reference layer to avoid clipping through multiple layers. How do I do that? How do I use a reference layer? Let's try that. CSP, how to use reference layer. You fill and draw on other layers while only referring to specific layers. This is really confusing. I don't understand any of this. Image on Discord. Okay. So I know, yes, I know what the lighthouse does. Well, I know where the lighthouse is. I just don't know what the lighthouse does. Because I'm worried that if I come here, right, and I take this and I set this as the reference layer, and then I do like flip to the layer below? Is this going to work? So if this works, I should only see the color red and the this doesn't work at all. It did not do what I wanted it to do. I have been lied to by the media. I have been lied to by my viewers. I have been lied to by everyone. Okay, so here's what should happen, right? If this is no longer clipped, right? It should have an entire opacity going through it, right? So this will only show at maximum whenever the thing underneath it is clipped. Does that make sense? Because when it's not clipped, it'll just be solid. Low key though, that's pretty cool. I kind of dig just that. I'm loving all the experiment stuff. I feel you. Because like, so I don't know what does that mean? What does this mean? Huh? I don't know. This doesn't do anything as far as I know. It has done absolutely nothing. Maybe I'll have to look this up later on my own. Work hard and not smart. Basically, I guess. I don't know, maybe I'll just layer it like this, and then I'll just add some of the colors in this way. This is the wrong kind of glow. This is also the wrong kind of glow. This is also the wrong kind of glow. Here's my reference. Maybe I just add this on top and then make this like a multiply or something, and then this looks wrong though. Like it doesn't look like it's the right color or anything. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing there. I think I'll just add like a color correction layer or something. And use it like a mask or something, I guess. I don't know. Well, I appreciate that. We'll just add a color correction layer or something. I want it to clip to below here. And then we'll just create a selection based on where I want that change to happen. So let's see if we can get in the right hue range of what I'm trying to get. Blue, red, orange, 2 yellow. Oh, that's tricky. Probably closer. Wow, that is really crazy. What the hell? I don't know why low luminosity does that. There's just that range where it starts to look strange. Yeah, what the hell is this? I guess I'm breaking it a little bit. It doesn't understand. I've successfully broken Clip Studio Paint. Here's my guess as to what it's doing, right? I'm guessing that a lot of these like RGB values or HSV values that are happening from the interaction between this really like balanced add layer over this really light color are causing it to like not really understand how to apply a higher saturation at a lower luminosity, and it's like bending up and down, right? That's why you see these bandings. Those banding effects are where it's kind of just like guessing at to where these things pop off. You can think of them kind of like topology layers, where the computer is like, these numbers are too close for me to actually understand what needs to change. So it's gonna happen like this. That's at higher saturation values. If you lower the saturation, it doesn't happen. Do you want, guess we lower the saturation? No, this isn't working. Nope. Oh well, I guess we'll just have to live with this, and next time I'll figure out why it does the things that it does. That's alright though. Oh, I almost forgot. I need to add my little signature. So I'll put my signature down here, I guess. Actually, you know what'd be really cool? What the? SPR. Hey, how's it going? Is there a lemon in the grass? SPRUNG. 6. 6 bands. So I could do 3 of each color. Two. One, two. Actually, that is 6. It's very insightful. Watching cheese making videos. I was telling them about this, yes. Cheese, Grommet. Cheese. What if, okay, how about this? How would you guys feel if I replaced the reference with another video from, what's it called? From Gavin Weber? And instead, while I'm finishing up this last thing, instead of having music, we just have Gavin Weber. And he's explaining to us how to make another cheese. Let's do a how-to. Nice. Right. Because we don't need the reference anymore, we have the arts. Where is... where's my reference? There it is. I'm poor, we need to gamble? No, we've discovered the gambling doesn't work the way we wanted. There is no government subsidized gambling, unfortunately. Let's change the one that I'm working on. I'll work on the one on the right, on the left, and you guys can see the one on the right. So, this, and then I'll be working over here on this one. That way, it's easier for you guys to see the cheese. This is why I subscribed. Alright, let's stop the music for a second. The music is on pause. By the way, Black Tea, you missed Kit trying to explain to me how layers work. Or, like, reference layers work. And it not making any goddamn sense to me at all. I still have no idea how this shit works. Not gonna lie to you.
Well, g'day curd nerds. Today we're making blue Gouda.
Let me know if this is too quiet. No idea what reference layers either. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know how they work.
But I've come up with an idea that Gouda, even though it tastes fantastic by itself, needed a little bit of an improvement. So what I've done is, during the process of making the Gouda, I've added some Penicillium Roqueforti. And what I haven't done is I haven't pierced any holes in it, and I've just waxed it. So to see how this interesting cheese is made, just have a look at the video.
For today's blue cheese, I'm using Inglenook Dairy's unhomogenized milk. Now, the ingredients for this recipe are 10 litres or 10 quarts of whole cow's milk, a quarter of a teaspoon of mesophilic starter culture, 1/8 of a teaspoon of Penicillium Roqueforti mould, 2.5 millilitres or half a teaspoon of calcium chloride diluted in 60 millilitres of non-chlorinated water, 2.5 millilitres or half a teaspoon of liquid rennet. I'm using single strength, which is about IMCU 200.
I actually don't like cheese either, but I like the making of cheese. I think that's the important thing.
And I'm also going to be using a saturated brine solution, about 18%.
I just like learning how things are made.
So we're going to heat up our milk now to 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it's reached that temperature, you can safely turn off the heat. Now we're going to be adding our mesophilic starter culture and our blue mould powder, which is Penicillium roque 40. Now I'm just using 2
Not eat cheese, we are curd nerds.
of the Mad Millie mesophilic starter culture.
Oh, god damn
Just
it.
happened to be something there on top. We got rid of that. And I'm using an 1/8 of a teaspoon there of the Penicillium roque 40. I have 2 versions in my shop. I have a mild and a strong. This is the strong version. So removing the spoon gently, or trying to anyway, without having any culture on it. We're going to allow these cultures and moulds to rehydrate now for 5 minutes.
I think one of my favorite parts is when he's doing like the cutting of the curds. It looks really cool.
Okay, slightly less blurry picture. We're going to stir the milk now thoroughly to mix in the cultures and moulds. So stir for about a minute. So just a quick check of the temperature. Now I've just noticed that's starting to rise a little bit too much for my liking. So I'm going to put the lid on now. And I'm going to move it off the heat. I just use a simple double boiler method there. That little pot there contains some water and it heats up the top big pot. Now we're going to allow the milk to ripen now for 45 minutes. So once some of the lactose has been eaten by the lactic bacteria, we're now going to add the other ingredients after we give it a quick stir to mix the cream back in again. Now we're going to add the calcium chloride solution now. Pop that in, give that another quick stir. About a minute I stir for here. And now we're going to add the rennet to the milk. Now after you add the rennet, don't stir for any more than 1 minute. Just a final check of the temperature, make sure it's not rising too high above that 30 degrees Celsius. There we go. So we're going to cover that and allow the milk to set for 45 minutes at 30 Celsius or 86 Fahrenheit. Now, 45 minutes later, we're going to check for a clean break now.
You
Now,
can
that
get
was a little
TV
bit too
from raw
sloppy for
unprocessed
me.
milk is so
I'll just check it
horrifying.
with a
What?
knife, just to see what it looks like. It's not as
What?
clean as I'd like it. It's a little bit too runny there. So if this happens to you, no problems at all. Just pop the lid back on and wait for another 10 to 15 minutes and then check it again. Now you may have
To be
to do
fair,
multiple instances.
You can
of
get like
this
any
if
disease from
there's something not
anything.
quite right with your rennet.
That's not true. You can't get any disease from anything, but you can definitely get a disease from anything.
Okay. So for me, it was 15 minutes I had to wait. So I'm checking it again with the knife. And we've got a much better clean break there. It's not sloppy and certainly feels dense to the touch. Just
Alright, he's
one
gonna cut it.
quick
He's gonna
check.
cut it.
Yep, good. So we're going to cut the curd
So much as a kid.
into 1.25 centimetre or half-inch cubes.
Look at that! Isn't that so cool?
Just a quick whiz around with the curd harp there to do the horizontal cuts.
Pew pew
And
pew.
then we're going to use the curd knife.
It's
to
he's
do
like
the
he's
curd.
cutting milk. That's insane to me.
Now, you
I don't know
always get
like
it even, so
how to
just
describe
try
it.
your
It's just
best
like what the hell?
and,
Why
get
is this
the
man
size
cutting milk?
as even as you possibly can. Now, the curds do like to move around a little bit when we do this, so it's pretty hard to get it accurate. So I went over some of the larger pieces again. Okay, now that's done, we're just going to cover that. And we're going to allow the curds to heal for 5 minutes. Okay, once the curds have healed, this prevents shattering of the curds as we start stirring. That's the reason we wait that 5 minutes. Now, if you see any large cubes pop up, then simply cut them with the edge of your knife. A knife. That's not a knife, that's a spoon. Cut them with
That's
the
a
edge of
knife.
your spoon. Yeah. And make sure you've got some consistent sizes there. You don't want them differing too much from the original size of 1.25 centimetres or half an inch. Okay, so
It's crazy how
at the start
the difference
of the
between this and like
stirring
tofu
process.
is basically
Check
just
the
that
temperature again, that's good.
milk will congeal
Now we're
completely,
going to gently stir the
right?
curds for 5 minutes.
and the bean milk, what you're looking for is like, you want it to
So 5
look
minutes
for
later,
seeds that will produce a big
curds
enough
have
curd,
shrunk a little.
right? And so here you can completely control
We're going
how much
to
crumble you have in the
allow them
cheese based on
to
how big the
Settle, I believe.
the curds are,
Memory
right?
serves me right. Here we go. So we're allowing them to settle for 5 minutes. Now, in the meantime,
I've got a bad feeling
grab
that the
yourself,
music and the
3
use in the background of this
litres
is not going to be.
water.
Well, he's using it in
and
his
heat
stuff,
that to
so I don't
60
think it'll be
degrees
too big of a
Celsius
deal.
or 140 Fahrenheit or just above. Then we're going to do some washing.
Just
of
some
the
sick
curds.
blues though.
So we've got 3 pots set up there, one empty one with water and one with the cheese. So just remove 2 cups of whey. And then we're going to add in enough hot water from that other pot so that the temperature goes up to 33 degrees Celsius or 92 Fahrenheit. Now you may have to put a few cups in, so that's 4 so far. And we're not quite there. So 2 more. Just check again. Close enough.
Keep curd.
Now I know that the pot's going to get a little bit warmer.
My Tim's pan is
as I
always way too
continue
cooked for
to
this.
stir.
I just think they've
As it's
got
been
a really
sitting on
good,
steam again.
really fun thing to do.
So just make sure that water's all mixed through. So what we're basically doing now is lowering the acidity of the curds. So we're going to stir the curds for 10 more minutes to help them shrink a little bit and to wash them. So 10 minutes later,
Speaking of attention for this,
you can see they've shrunk quite a bit.
Black Tea, did you actually
is,
find
perfect
the
for this
pumpkin tofu?
Cheese. Now we're going to pop the lid back on and we're going to allow the curds to settle again for 5 minutes this time. So 5 minutes later, just removing the lid of the water again. And we're going to remove the whey down to the level of the curds until you can just see the curds. So this is the second washing of the curds.
The washing of
Now
the
you can
curds
use
sounds like a
this
book
cup method I'm using
by T.S.
here,
Eliot or
or you
something.
can get a sieve and dip off the whey using your cup in the sieve. You may have seen that in some of the other videos that I've produced using washed curd recipes.
I also forgot to look
Just
for
see
it.
the curds there. I don't want to go down too far into the curds.
Look at all that whey. That's crazy.
That's about it without disturbing the layer of curds. So now I'm going to add in enough of the 60 degrees Celsius water to bring the curds up to 36 degrees Celsius or 98 Fahrenheit. Now you will find that when you do add in some of the water, they may mat together again, the curds that is. So give them a good stir so it breaks them up. So just going to check the temperature, and as if by magic I've magicked the 36 degrees that I was aiming for, a little bit over, that's okay. Now gently stir for 20 more minutes. And you'll see that the curd size is quite small now. And that's what we're aiming for. So we're going to pop the lid back onto the pot. We're going to allow them to settle for 10 minutes. This just assists with draining the curds in a minute. So over to the sink area, we're going to drain the curds through a colander. Now they are very tight knit. You can see how the curds have all matted together there. So I opted not to use a cheesecloth because I knew the curds weren't going to go through the holes in the colander basically. So we're going to now allow them to drain for 5 minutes. Just so as much of that whey can get released. So now we're just going to break off thumbnail size pieces and fill the mold with curds. The reason I did this was because lately when I've just been taking the curd mass and putting it into the basket there, I've been getting lopsided pressings of my cheese, so they don't look level, the top and the bottom. So I thought I'll break up the curd.
The idea of eating curds
similar to what I used
potentially
to do
being a
long
symbol of
time
status
ago,
in ancient Middle East.
into thumbnail
Very interesting
size
though.
pieces,
I mean, yeah,
and
because
we'll see
it's
what happens.
like I was explaining before, the only way to get rennets, especially back in the old days, is to slaughter a calf,
The last
right?
of
And
the
then like take the
Just pulling down
enzymes
the
inside of the
cheese
stomach,
cloth so we don't get any
and
marks
then
on
you
the
can
side
use
of
that
the
to make
cheese
cheese. So
during the first
to
pressing.
make
Pop the
cheese, you
follower
have
on
to
top,
slaughter a calf, basically.
and then we're going to take it over to the press area. Now we're going to press the cheese
Means
at
the curd
about
water.
2.5 kilograms or 5 pounds of pressure for 30 minutes. So it's a fairly light pressing. I haven't screwed the spring down very much at all there. You can see a little bit of cloudy whey coming out there. I really didn't want to press my luck because that cloudy whey means that fat's coming out of the cheese. And that's what we don't want to happen. Now we're going to remove the cheese from the press and take it out of the mould. And we're going to flip it over. Now be careful after this
I think
first
nowadays
pressing,
we have a little
it
bit
might
better
not
of a
have
process.
formed
I think we
properly,
have
but in my
like
case it did, so
synthetic rennet.
that was okay. Now we're going to increase the pressure to 5 kilograms or 11 pounds for 3 hours. Okay, 3 hours later, we're going to remove the cheese from the press again and take it out of the mould. And that's formed up fairly well. Got some cheesecloth markings on the side. Now for this third pressing, same pressure, 5 kilograms, 11 pounds for another 3 hours. Okay, once the pressings are all complete, we grab our saturated brine solution that I've got there in my little red brine bucket. Now, you don't have to use a brine bucket like that. Any plastic container that is deep enough will work. I've just got that there. I've seemed to found it around the house and it works fine. So place it into a 18% saturated brine solution for 10 hours and turn it over or flip over the cheese at the 5-hour mark so it's evenly salted. So after the 10 hours has occurred, we're going to place it on a mat to assist with air drying. Just got a simple bamboo mat there with a chopping board and just place it on there. So we're going to air dry the cheese for 2 days or until touch dry, and we're going to turn it every 6 hours to assist with the drying. So it feels touch dry to me. So we're going to get rid of that little board and we're going to put it into a ripening box or maturation box, whatever you want to call it. Then we're going to ripen that at 10 degrees, 10 to 13 Celsius, 50 to 55 Fahrenheit, at 85% relative humidity for 1 week. I'm going to turn it every day. So by turning daily, this helps any any moisture to release from the cheese. Now, if the mold does build up, we can make a simple brine solution like this one. Just 1 cup of cool water and 1 teaspoon of salt, which I'm just stirring there in that little jug. And I'm going to wash the cheese down. Now, if you do see that the mold keeps coming back, then we have added mold into the cheese, so it's going to come back. So just wash it with the solution. Now, I only washed it once during the whole week, but I did turn it every single day. I just wanted to see the mold build up on it. So this is after a week of development. And you can see it's fairly moldy, but the cheese is still very firm to touch. So just using my brine solution, don't breathe in those spores that are coming off it, of course. But all those penicillium rote 40 spores through the air. Anyway, it's cleaning up very simply, very easy to do, as you can see there. Now that was only on the surface, it hadn't penetrated into the cheese itself, even though the mold growth was probably going from the outside inside out anyway, because I had added penicillium rote 40 to the cheese, as we saw at the start of the cheese.
Barely moldy.
So just making sure that there's no surface mold on it before we proceed to the next step.
Just a
Now, I
smidge
did
moldy.
mention at the start of the video that
Just a
I was
little
not
bit.
going to pierce this pierce the cheese. So we're not piercing the cheese as we would with normal blue cheese. I just want it to have a slight blue flavour. I want that Gouda flavour to remain. So to prevent any extra build-up of mould, I sprayed it with some white vinegar there. Just gave it a good rub over with the same cloth I was using before. So I'm patting it dry now before we move on to waxing. Making sure it's back to its touch dryness, if that's such a word. Just using a little bit of paper towel there to sit it on before I proceed over to the waxing area. So in the meantime, I've heated up my wax in my wax bowl up to 75 degrees Celsius or 167 Fahrenheit. I think that was one of my taste testers that walked past in. Oh, there he is. Anyway, that temperature will kill off any
Dog spotted.
molds on contact. So we're going to coat the cheese with 2 to 3 layers of cheese wax. And you can see a fairly simple method I use there is just dunk it in to as deep as I can in the bowl. It's a fairly shallow bowl. And you can see I get about a quarter of the cheese, and I just rotate it 90 degrees every time I dunk it in. To do those holes, you can see I've just got a little spoon there, put a bit of wax on, and run it over the top. Now I'm using grease-proof paper there, and that prevents the wax from sticking to any surface, which is quite a bonus. So I'm putting on the second coat now, as you can see. Just simply dunking it in over the first coat. And I've still got a big gap there, so let's fix that up, Gav. There we go. Spoon a bit of wax on and just smooth it with the back of the spoon. That seals up any air gaps. Now I inspected it again and I saw a little bit of a gap there, so just popped a little bit more wax on top. There we go. Got a little card to say what it is and when it's mature. Just one last inspection to make sure there are no holes in the wax.
It's very important. You
Little
don't want
wax
to
on top
have
and pop my
unmature
card on
cheese.
top. So we're going to mature it at 10
Makes
to
terrible
13
jokes.
Celsius or 50 to 55 Fahrenheit at 75% relative humidity for at least 6 weeks, and turn your cheese weekly.
So, fairly nice and simple cheese, besides the washing part. Maybe I should reframe it. It was a little bit complex when I come to think of it. Don't forget, during that first week, after you've air dried it that you need to turn it every day, and if you see any signs of mold growing on it like you did in this one, then make sure you wash it off with a brine solution. And to keep the blue mold at bay, then don't forget to spray it with a little bit of vinegar as well.
Just imagine peeling that whole thing and just going munch.
And then I wax the cheese. So what we're going to do is we're going to age this cheese for 2 months. You can age it for up to 4 months for a stronger flavour. However, because it doesn't have any holes pierced in it, the blue, you won't have any veining. But the flavour, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, will be there. So we'll have a Gouda with a nice blue flavour. Anyway, if you enjoyed this cheese, check out another video over here. Don't forget we have kits so you can make this with. You can use the blue cheese making kit over at our site, littlegreenworkshops.com.au. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, and give the video a thumbs up. Well, thanks for watching, Curd Nerds, and I'll see you next time. Well, g'day, Curd Nerds. Today we're going to do a taste test for Blue Gouda. So this cheese was ready on the 1st of December. I made it about mid-October, so it was ready for 6 weeks. So it's actually been 8 weeks now that it's been maturing in the fridge. It's basically a Gouda style cheese with Penicillium roqueforti added to the milk, and although it did grow a blue bloom over the outside, we wiped all that off before we waxed it, and we're going to see what the flavour tastes like, see if there's a hint of blue, and whether it tastes rather Gouda-ish or Gouda-ish. So let's take the wax off first. I'll smooth this out the way. It's sticking a little bit to the wax. It's not a bad thing. It's still very firm. It's just going to make the wax a lot harder to clean up, to reuse it. Now I did put about 3, maybe even 4 layers of wax on here. But yeah, a bit of cheese is coming off with the wax, so I might have to.
I'm God's putting soldier. What?
This wax,
cheese kits. Oh.
whether I can clean off the cheese.
They are the cheese kits.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Very tiny.
Cheese is coming off.
Wait, hold on. Let me scott.
There we go. Backside's all right.
Imagine you go over to your friend's place and they're just like, here's your Baby Bell snack, and it's just like,
there we go.
The fucking size of your head.
A fair whack of the cheese came off there. Right. Oh, that was a sneaky peek. I can't really taste it. So the cheese looks all right. It's a bit crumbly actually. From first indications of the wax coming off. So let's just use the cutter. Get that knife out of the way. I got it around the wrong way. Doesn't help, does it? All right. So the normal creaminess of the Gouda, it's really strong. It smells strong. I think that's definitely the Penicillium roqueforti. It does smell very bluish. But let's get this wire in the right place so I can cut it in half. Alright. Yeah, there's a lot of cheese sticking to the string, the cutting string. So that concerns me a little bit. Come apart.
Peel that in a bus and take a big bite out of it. Oh my god. You know what? That wouldn't even be the weirdest thing I've seen in public transportation in the US. right?
Very strong smell, and there are mechanical holes in this one. Just one or two where it didn't get pressed enough. All right, I'll just get this out of the way. Move the wax out of the way anyway, and put this on my board. Just give this another cut. So some more mechanical holes where I didn't press. It's quite tacky actually. Just broke out my trusty hidden tea towel there. Smells nice. It's strong. So what I was kind of hoping for, making a blue gouter, or a blue style gouter.
Yes.
Let's just pull that through. I'm still cutting okay. And let's go for a smell. Little hints of blue. It's no blue vein because I didn't pierce it, and I did wipe the blue off with a brine solution before I waxed the cheese.
It's like
So
hell on
only-
earth.
I was only after a hint.
It's not really
So the cut's
listen,
okay. It's not
you don't want to be in public transportation
Fairly
in the United
bendy.
States. That's all I'm
cracked a
gonna
little
say.
bit. Let's go for a taste. Mm. Mm.
If you can avoid it, usually
Quite
people do not
nice.
take.
So definitely has a Gouda flavour, which is good, seeing it's a Gouda style cheese. And there's this little subtle aftertaste of blue, which is, well, it's what I hoped for. So I think it's a bit of a success. I know I'll give Kim a piece later on, but I dare say she will agree with me that it's quite a nice cheese. Mm. Very
I'm wondering
nice,
if I want to make
very
the
nice
art
indeed.
full
It's
size.
exactly what I was after. So I didn't want any veining. I didn't want any mold around the outside. I just wanted a Gouda style. I wanted that creaminess, the flavour, and I wanted a little bit of blue. So I would say that that's success. So I don't know if there are blue Goudas
Chunk of cheese right
in
now.
the world. Or there
You don't
is
even
this
need
style
cheese.
anyway. But certainly this is
But this is the kind of stuff
a
that's like,
success as far as I'm concerned.
perhaps I have just
So,
been having terrible cheese.
No
I don't
blue,
understand.
as I said, within it. It cuts okay. It's not crumbly. The outside is a little
What else
bit.
can we watch?
You can see that the paste differs in colour from the rind to the centre of the paste. You can see it's a little bit different colour.
Everyone gets to see my
Probably
weird...
why the wax stuck to the cheese, or cheese stuck to the wax, whichever way you see it. But yeah, certainly not crumbly on the inside, a little bit crumbly on the outside.
Let's have that one
Could
to
have been
us.
where I washed it off, washed the blue off. I didn't think I was that different.
I am allowed to crave.
But yeah, definitely
That's-
a
you know what?
lovely
That's fair.
Gouda flavour in the centre. The rind is lovely as well.
I'm gonna keep it small.
Like I said, a little bit of blue flavour, very nice indeed. So another successful cheese.
He does make it look really
Well,
good
that's,
also.
2 for 2 of late, which is good. So I'm very happy with the outcome of the blue Gouda. So if you want to see how to make blue Gouda, you can check out the video over here. So we do have ingredients, everything you need. You'll see, I'll put in the description below the ingredient list. You can get those over at littlegreenworkshops.com.au. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, of course, you know what to do.
We'll give it a thumbs up.
And if
Collective
you haven't
thumbs up
subscribed to the
from
channel
the
already,
group.
please do so.
Bam.
And share the video or other videos with your friends via other social medias. Anyway, thank you for watching, Curd Nerds, and I'll see you next time. Well, g'day, Curd Nerds, and today we're making Castle Blue.
Baked cheese tomorrow. Is it the cashew spread that we saw? Gets cheese, looks inside, actually cashew
so Castle
spread.
Blue looks like it's an original recipe from the 200 Easy Cheese Making Recipes by Deborah Amron's Boys. And it's actually from their farm. They actually invented the recipe. And they have a company called the Farmhouse Natural Cheeses. So this cheese is described as being a blue cheese that is soft until it's oozy and creamy. It has natural rinds that vary intensity from blue to grey, and inside the paste is scattered with blue veins. We'll see how that goes, of course. My version is similar. I don't think I've changed very much at all from the original recipe, so hopefully I've stayed true to type, and and hopefully Deborah will be pleased with what I've concocted out of her recipe. Anyway, enough waffling, let's get on and see how I made the cheese.
So first of all, you'll have to sanitize your equipment. I've got all of my stainless steel equipment there, and that was boiled for about 15 minutes. Now I've set up my work area. I've got a sous vide there.
This is oddly
keeping the
heartwarming
water
to watch.
temperature
Like, this
in
person has a little corny
at
internet
32
that
degrees
mostly
Celsius.
posts
Now, the
themselves,
ingredients
or
for
they
this
post
cheese
themselves
is
making the most
6.5
niche
litres
content
or
on the internet.
6.8
From their
quarts
own
of
group
cow's milk, whole
things,
cow's milk,
having equally
500
as
mils or
passionate
2
about
cups
hobby.
of whipping cream, 1/8
Exactly,
teaspoon
yeah.
of mesophilic starter culture,
We don't
1/8
have many options for
of
me, but I think I
penicillium
saw
rope
like
40
camembert.
mold
Oh,
powder,
that looks cool.
1/4
Camembert stuff.
teaspoon or
It's fun.
1.25
And that's like,
millilitres of
this
calcium
is a
chloride,
majority of the content that I
diluted in
watch.
1/4
Like,
cup
it'll be on the
of
side when I'm
non-chlorinated
drawing or
water,
doing other stuff.
1/4 teaspoon, 1.25
So
millilitres
I don't know if
of
maybe
single
that's just like
strength
my own
rennet,
personal
diluted
like
in
cultivation
1/4 cup
of like
non-chlorinated
what I
water.
consume
You're also
makes me very
going to
positive
need
and nice,
some
but I'm sure it doesn't
non-iodized
help.
cheese
It doesn't
salt
hurt.
for salting the cheese later on. So pour your milk into the pot and clip your thermometer on, and if you're using unhomogenized milk and there's some cream floating on the top, give that a little bit of a whisk just to incorporate that back into the milk. Now the initial temperature there, it took me a while to heat this up because this is the first time I ever used a sous vide, and you would have seen a previous video on it here. Now heat your milk up to 32 degrees Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's fairly close, within 0.3 of a degree, so that's okay. So we're going to add the starter culture now. Just sprinkle that over the top. Just a tad more because it wasn't a level teaspoon. And we're going to add the penicillium rogue 40 powder, the blue mold powder.
Really in a true crimes rabbit hole. That's all I have in the
Sprinkle that
background.
over the top.
Sometimes I'll watch, like, I liked what's it called? Red Web. Red Web was a really interesting one for sure. Consider Cheese Man in the background.
So cover that up, and then we're going to allow that to rehydrate.
I mean, it's fine. Learning about this stuff is
for
really
5
cool.
minutes.
You can always apply it to what you're doing, right? Because they'll talk about anatomy a lot on there. So they're talking about blood, connective tissues, and stuff like that. And so there's a way to
So
apply
5
that
minutes
for
later,
sure.
We're going to stir
So
that
don't think it's for
into
nothing.
the milk now. Now you may have trouble incorporating the penicillium rogue 40 powder. It does tend to float on the top at this early stage of the cheese making process, but give it a good stir and that'll incorporate all the way through the milk as it rehydrates. Takes a little bit longer than the normal starter culture.
These
It
people
will
think it's
incorporate.
terrifying.
Now, allow
Well,
the milk to ripen for
unless they're
90
getting like
minutes.
interviews from the actual person, it's hard to know what they're thinking about, right?
So 90 minutes later,
But I think a lot of true crimes do
Should
have
be
like
at the right
documents of what they
acidity level.
said or what they did.
give that a quick stir because
It's still a lot of it is up to the interpretation of the presenter. And they're trying to make an entertainment
Just check
piece.
the temperature, and
So it's important to keep
it's
in
fairly
mind
spot on. Notice I've got the
that
sous
while
vide
they might
set
not be embellishing
0.5 degrees
something, they might be
Celsius
interpreting
above
things in a
the
way that is
temperature I
going to
want,
make for better
but
media.
that's okay. Now we're going to add in the calcium chloride, just to add some soluble calcium back to the milk after it's been pasteurized. And then we're going to add the rennet. And the rennet is the substance or the enzyme that coagulates the milk. It turns it into curds and whey. So stir that for no more than 1 minute. There we go. Now, I'm using the flocculation method. So we start a stopwatch after we've added the rennet.
Flocculating.
See how long it takes.
Violent and discerning
flocculate
traits
when
in children
we're
preteens. That's
going
true.
to float a small plastic lid.
YouTube
just
channel
on top.
JCS Criminal
the
Psychology. No, I don't.
Globules on top.
What is that?
And it should freely spin. Now spin it at about the 8-minute mark, and then every 30 seconds to test for when it stops spinning. Now when it stops spinning is called the flocculation point. And we'll just check. And yes, it stopped spinning there at about the 13-minute mark for me.
I mean, I fully believe that. I think that there is a
So I
big
called it
responsibility
at,
in
13
our
minutes
culture,
and 19
in society,
seconds.
or like in
So that
for
is
shaping
when
children
you can
and the
safely
youth,
take off the
that
little
we
lid.
just
You
don't-
need to spin it anymore.
we offload that responsibility again and again and again, and
So the
we get a lot of
flocculation
cases where
multiplier
that
for this
it
one
ends up
is
not happening.
4, so we're going to multiply 13.3 by 4. Gives us 53.2 minutes. So I'm going to use 53 minutes. So what we now do is take away the 13.3, which was the initial time, away from the 53, gives us 39.9. So about 40 minutes is how much is left to set the curds. There we go, and the clock's ticking. So now we check for a clean break just to make sure that the curd has set as predicted. But it's fairly foolproof when you're using the flocculation method. So we're going to cut the curds into 2.5 centimetre or 1 inch cubes. Rather large.
What?
Now,
No
I
way,
wasn't
that's
going to
like
use my
a common
normal
thing.
curd harp, because that has really small, or 1.25 or half the size of what they should be. So
I could
cut
imagine
diagonally to
happening
get
for like 1 or
larger
2 people,
cube
but for that to
sizes,
be like a
and just
regular
use my
occurrence,
skimmer
no way.
to just cut horizontally. So we're going to allow the curds to heal for 5 minutes, so they don't fracture when you start stirring them. And there they are, fairly chunky. That's kind of what we want. I'm going to stir the curds gently now at the target temperature for 30 minutes. Now I'm only cutting the odd big one. I'm not going to cut some of those other ones. So start your clock so you know how long to stir for. So 30 minutes later, that's about the size of the curd. It's about the size of a cannelli bean, which of those who don't know is a rather large bean. We're going to allow the curds
See,
to
I did not
settle
know.
down to the bottom for 5 minutes. So I'm stopping the sous vide. I don't need the heat anymore. I'm just going to unplug that, get that out the way. Drip it dry there a little bit. And pull the plug out. I don't need the water keeping the milk warm anymore, because I'm going to put it into its moulds. So we're going to dip off the way to the level of the curds now, just to make it a little bit easier putting the curds in the basket. Now, because I couldn't stop any of the curds going down the sink, so I decided to start ladling it into the 3 10cm or 4-inch moulds. They're camembert moulds, traditionally they're called on most cheese making websites. So we fill those up to the tippy top as best we can. Now this will take a little bit of time. It took me about
You
half an hour,
said in the
I think,
beginning of the stream, so
waiting
people that
for the curds
would
to
fight the
settle so I could
lions
put some
and
more in
1v1
there.
the woolly mammoths.
See, this is
I
refilling
really
it
don't
until
believe
all
that.
the curds have been used. They
It's about
will
people in
shrink
interrogation
under
rooms
gravity as they drain
most of the
under their own
time
weight.
are guilty of crime, and the narrator picks the interview apart and shows methods used by the interrogator and also by the perpetrator. It's very well made. Oh, interesting.
So
So just wait about
people
10
that would
minutes, and
wouldn't want
you can see
to.
they do shrink down. That's
All I'm saying,
footage.
all I'm saying is I would
Like I
take
said, it took me
the
about half an
51%,
hour to fill
right? That's
the
all I'm saying.
baskets using all the curd.
Conspiracy
This will give us a
theory.
fairly firm little cheese that will be
I think you
fairly
get the
tight
same
in
amount of like
basket.
people fighting
It won't shrink
lions
down
with
to
just
your
like higher
normal
adrenaline,
camembert
not with like
size
people that are actually
of
mentally
cheese.
unwell and want to kill people.
So I'm going to allow those to drain for 2 hours now that we've totally filled them. And they'll shrink even further. As you can see there, they've shrank about 2 centimetres from the top of the basket. So just a quick clean up. Now we're going to flip the cheeses over and allow them to drain overnight. Now they were fairly firm at this stage, so I decided to make sure there was a nice clean bottom. I just took them out of the hoops and put the not so smooth side down on the bottom of the basket, and that will give me a nice clean
I think the problem
surface,
is like this
all
bias
over the cheese.
where you're thinking that, oh, there must be
So the
some
next
sort of a
stage,
reason for things to
we're gonna flip
happen.
the cheeses
Sometimes
again and allow them to
shit just
drain
happens for no
for
reason. Sometimes people are
2
just
hours. As
fucking
you can
awful.
see, I've got a nice rind developed.
Hunting
on
those
all
animals
the
or defending
cheese,
them
all
against the
over.
village. I think pretty same people are doing it. It's just courage, right? It's just courage. People can be really stupid and not really malicious, you know?
There we go, lovely. Just pop a little umbrella over to keep any beasties off.
They're keeping the beasties off.
So 2 hours later,
What would the beasties do?
we're just going to check for firmness.
Heinous things,
Get all those
probably.
mats out the way. Get the maturation box out the way. Now I could tell they were firm enough, so we're just going to salt the top of each cheese with 3/4 of a teaspoon of non-iodized salt. So this is a quarter of a teaspoon I'm using there, so I'm using 3 for each one. Give it a little bit of a rub, get the salt in there, and then flip it over so that the salt side is down. Now the salt side's down, we're going to salt the top, with 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt on each top, and then give that a gentle rub. That'll help the salt absorb into
Not quite
the
cooked, barely
cheese.
fried.
Just gentle
I
rub.
am deep fried courage.
There we go.
I was trying to convince my friend that he would be
Now
Cled
they go into
from
the dishwasher.
League of Legends. And I managed to convince him, I think.
I'm going to cover those straight away, and we're going to ripen those in the cheese fridge at 10 degrees Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit at 90% humidity for 1 week, and just pop that into the cheese fridge there. That's how I mature all my cheese. So it's time to pierce the cheese. This is the Castile Blue. It's been ripening now for a week and a half. So a week and a half. And I'll just pull it out of the box, hopefully not spill anything. And put it down on here. Oh, lovely. Look at that.
That looks
Magnificent.
lovely.
We've got some lovely blue coverage there.
Right? So this is
a
the
little
same
moist on
thing
the
as like
bottom,
salami. I want to make some.
so I'm
I
gonna
gotta show
have
you
to
this
pat
guy that
those
makes salami.
dry.
Yeah, wait,
Use
wait,
a
wait,
paper
wait.
towel to do that. So let's do that. Now I've sanitized it's a thermometer that I'm going to pierce the cheese with, and that's what we're going to do now. Sanitize the board here. So let's just take,
Where is it? Where is it?
just move that there, put that there, put that there.
This guy?
Just rip off a bit of my paper towel.
This guy that I'm going to show you is actually insane.
Always make sure.
As I assume all Italians are.
So I'm just going to flip that over and just pat that dry.
Not Gavin Weber. Gavin Weber's cool. I like him.
Because it won't grow mold on it if it's that moist. I'm telling you now. But I will pierce from this side, from the not so moist side. So here we go. So just, I can feel it's really creamy, which is great because I did put a fair bit of cream in this. Just pierce it down.
This will allow oxygen into the cheese
Paprika is bottom of F tier.
and for the blue mold to grow.
Is
because
paprika
the
a vegetable?
penicillium
I thought.
roquefort needs oxygen
Cayenne pepper. Wait. Which one's onions?
to develop.
I think onions are also very S tier.
So
Yes,
there's
I
a few
agree.
holes. Not too many. Should get some good
Onions
mold
are so
coverage
elite.
there.
Onion basket in the
like that.
background, but
And I'll do a couple of sideways ones.
it's a normal amount of salt.
Just a couple. Maybe one more. There we go. So I haven't gone all the way through.
Y'all are like Vulcan
That's
mind
just enough to
melting.
allow the blue mold in. All right, so that's the first one. I'll go high speed through the rest. As a blue cheese, that tastes quite nice now, even though I don't have a little bit of vinegar on my fingers. But yeah, anyway, I'll put them back into the ripening box. And it's got a bit of blue down, so that's all dry now. I've cleaned that all out, as you've seen. So there's no moisture on the mat or anything like that. They shouldn't be too wet because the blue mold just doesn't like to develop. And it needs ample oxygen, so you need to make sure that you check at least once a week for the cheese to get enough oxygen when you take the lid off and let it circulate. Anyway, so that's piercing the canned blues, and we'll get back to it when it's time for the taste test. I'm very excited about that. They look lovely so far and taste very nice already. A little bit of a blue hint, but there's no veining and we won't know that until we cut into the cheese. So don't forget to turn your cheese weekly. This will give you an even mould development all over. Here's just an example of one of the turnings that I've done for this cheese. You can see that the mould has developed quite well now all over the cheese. If I wanted to, I could probably pierce it for a
multiplies
second
when I'm
time.
You got just bell
but
pepper?
I'll see how it goes along and see how the mould's developing. But yeah, nice even.
But
mould
defiled and
coverage
humiliated.
all
What?
over the cheese. And make sure you do flip it at least weekly, because you'll find that the rind will stick to the mat.
What is a blue hint cheese fan? I gotta know. It's like a slight taste of blue cheese. So like the flavor that you get from eating Roquefort.
So just pop that back into your maturation box again. Make sure they've got a bit of space between them so that the oxygen can get to all surfaces and you won't have too many troubles. Now, if the lid's got moisture on it, make sure that's dried off, because you don't want that building up and dripping on top of the cheeses. So just with a piece of paper towel, just give that a wipe and then pop that back on top again. So total ripening time from when you first put them in the cheese fridge is 6 to 10 weeks, depending on how oozy you like your blue cheese. If you like it quite firm, then go for the 6 weeks. Anyway, back to Gav. So that was fairly easy. I suppose it's more of an intermediate cheese. And I found that the blue mould started to grow at about the 10-day mark. So that's when I pierced it. I didn't pierce it beforehand.
Have to cost
It
at
did
least
mention in the
$1,000?
recipe,
No way.
The original recipe that I used.
I think they
that
cost like
after
maybe
1
50
week, you
bucks
should
for all the
pierce it.
materials that he's using,
I
not
waited
including like
until I
the
saw
stuff
a
that he
coating of
had
blue on the
prior, right?
outside, so I knew that the Penicillium roquefort was
You could
actually
maybe
growing.
sell it for like 200,
So,
is my guess.
it's pierced now. It's in the
But you
cheese
probably
tray. I've
wouldn't
turned it a couple
really
of
sell it for more than like
times.
100,
It's
and
got
you'd
some
probably
blue on
sell
the
each
outside.
individual
It hasn't
wheel
got,
that you cut
it's not
for maybe
entirely
like
covered in
50
blue,
or something.
but it's going to age for between 6 and 10 weeks.
But you gotta
And
remember,
then
most
once it
cheese making
has a
stuff is
fairly,
like
blue
factory
mould all
sort of
over,
thing.
I'm going to wrap it in some silver cheese wrap that is
$1,000 if shipped
so
here.
that's a
Well,
breeze.
that's because you have to pay
And
customs.
then
You
I'll
can't
store it
actually
in
ship
the
meats
kitchen
or cheese,
fridge.
processed meats or cheese.
Hopefully it doesn't smell the fridge out a little bit too much. There's some some funky smells coming out of the cheese cave already. Anyway, we'll have a taste test on this one in about 4 to 5 weeks' time. It should be mature then, but I'll kind of gauge it. It needs to be runny on the inside, or the blue mold needs to have made it a bit oozy, but we'll see how that goes. If I'm going to stay true to type, if not, I'll cut it. It should be fairly creamy with the addition of that cream, so that should be good. And then we'll do the taste test, and I'll give my verdict on what this cheese tastes like. So don't forget, you can pick up the kit. I recommend the specialty cheese kit, and I'll put the link for that in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, of course.
Let's give it a thumbs up.
And you
Call
can
to
subscribe
action.
to the channel to get more cheese
1.4,000 likes. There
If you want to become a financial member, please do so over at Patreon or YouTube memberships, and the links are in the description below. Anyway, thanks for watching, Curd Nerds, and we will see you next time.
$500? That's insane. That's probably for like the whole wheel though, right? I think this is the guy I'm talking about. Yes, okay. So this guy is insane. Okay?
Hello guys, today we prepare a cacciatorini salami, Italian traditional salami, very easy to make it. And this one that you see is 20 ml of wine with 1 clove of garlic. Yesterday night I put the garlic inside the wine. After we throw the garlic and we keep the wine because the taste now of the garlic is in the wine. Okay, now I give you the ingredients together. So 20 ml of wine, 1 clove of garlic, 24 grams of sea salt, 4 grams of black pepper, 2 grams I will put in grain.
He's got a great accent. I love his accent.
I will grain directly on the meat.
I think at the time of making this video, he was in
300
China
grams
for
of
some
belly
reason.
pork, 700 grams of loin.
His YouTube
pork,
channel is also insane. He has a whole bunch of like different types of cooking from like
and
Italy
the
specifically.
line to tight
So
your
it's really good.
salami. If you have the
But this is gonna teach you. You want to make salami from
the
scratch,
browner
very
meat,
like whatever.
you can use it.
Bam!
The
This will
oil
teach you to make salami.
of
You'll
the
get salami
browner should be
sometimes.
between 6 and 8 millimeter. If not, you can do with a knife like me. One advice: more the meat is cold, more easy to cut it. So maybe you can put 5 minutes in the refrigerator before that you start cutting the meat. In the gut, now I will put a
Oopsie.
teaspoon of vinegar. This gut I receive it from l'uomo di casa when we make the soppressata together. If not, if you cannot find your country, I already posted the video to make the gut at home directly from the intestine of the pork. After now I put all the ingredients together. I will do with a knife because I have now the meat grounder
Mincer.
or incher meat. I don't know, the machine that cut the meat.
So he gives a little
And
bit of an
after,
explanation
I
of what's
will
going
put,
on.
in
I don't know
in
if
the
I should
gut
skip ahead.
using the
We'll skip ahead just a little bit,
instrument
right?
that I already showed the other time.
Because I gotta go here at
I show
4.
later. Remember to have also the line to tie them.
mincer. Why did you highlight it? That's so funny. Yes.
Cut all the meat. For 1 kilogram of meat I spend 2 hours. So if you want to do a lot of cacciatorini, like 10 kilogram of meat, it's better if you find the machine that ground the meat. Now we put the salt. It's not so big, so I can put directly like this. Half of the pepper, the other half I will smash it or ground it. We mix everything very well. At the end,
I'm comfortable with the cutting of the meat
mix
scene.
again, and after we need to put inside the gut. You can use one of these. If not, you can take a plastic bottle that have long net. You remove the top and the rest of the bottle, and you can use this one. So I will try with a plastic bottle because it's more longer.
This one is gonna have a little bit of
we
like
put
push through.
the gut here.
Are you just
more
gonna
that we can.
every time you
After
mispronounce
we tie,
something, you're just gonna
we
highlight it?
cut the part that we don't need it, the long part. We stuff the gut, we tie it again, and I will try to tie it in the proper way. If you cannot tie it in the proper way, don't worry, you can tie it like you're able to do it, because it's not
I
important.
feel like that's being a little bit rude.
It's
This is
very
the man.
beautiful, but important that
The myth,
work
the legend
well.
that is Cuore di Cioccolato. I think that's his name. Cuore di Cioccolato. Cuore di Cioccolato. Mix, mix, mix. Ew, so fast. Puts in the salt. More mix. Mix, 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 mix. Yippee! Black pepper. Mix, 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 mix. I think the black peppers are a little bit to taste, right? I don't know what seasoning this is. I can't remember. I think that's just like different pepper, right? And then the wine that has the garlic cloves soaked in it. Although some people, I think, chop up the garlic and add it as well. A reasonable amount of salt. Displayed on the screen, not because of the way he pronounces it. That's, you know what, that's fair. I don't think that salami is necessarily for everything. Salami is one of my favorite foods, 100%. But it's one of those things, you know? It's one of those things. Let's go, Lobster. Yeah, we're watching. You missed it. We were watching a whole bunch of like cheese videos while I was finishing up the drawing. And now we're doing some. We're watching this guy make salami because the way he makes it is completely unhinged. There's like very little cleanliness going on. Dude's just like, he washed his hands, but he's just like doing everything by hand, just shoving it through a tube. Actual goats. The Gunnar Lord himself. Lop. Aww, you little baby boy. Guy play with his meat on stream. I know. It's not that big of a departure from the normal streams, if I'm being honest. So he does is you fold it and then you like tie it over the other side. See, this guy doesn't even do that. He just ties it really tight. He's like, "Yep, that's fine." Most normal, most normal thing we've done on stream. Okay, so he does the BDSM knots on the salami, right? And then he's just gonna like hang them up in the fridge.
Don't worry if, like me, you have feel too much the gut. It's okay. The gut that is broken, you remove the
Yeah, the
meat
BDSM
from,
knots.
the gut. You cut
What do you
the
want me?
gut and you
Listen,
keep the remaining part.
like
I
no
put
one's
the
done
meat
this.
with the
Like
other,
taking the, you
and
know,
I
that's
feel
the
the
same
other
one you
one.
put around the
Again,
arms,
little
and then
bit
you
less
put around the
and
legs, and then
tight
you can tighten it.
differently. Now I'll show you. But before,
They got the
remember
shibari
that
rope
after
techniques.
that you tied the gut with a nail, you need to
Don't
make
worry,
a hole
girl.
in
I
the
make
meat.
salami.
In this way, the air inside, inside the gut, between the meat will go out. If not, you spoil your salami.
Shibari
your
is
cacciatore.
super cool. Like when people do like the artistic, like representations of it, it's so awesome. Think, 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 think. Like I feel like this man did not sterilize that needle that he's using. He just took a clothespin out of the closet and just like is poking it.
After that, you have tied and make the hole in your salami with a nail. You need to hang up at room temperature for 24 hours. After, you will put in the basement with the temperature of 15, 18 Celsius degree, and after 1 week you can put at the temperature of 10 Celsius degree if you have the basement. If no, if you have the problem that I have, you should do like me, 24-36 hours at room temperature, and after we hang in the fridge. So at the end, the good things of this broken gut is that the salami are short, so it will be easy to put in the fridge. Like this one is too long for the fridge, so probably I will hang them inside the fridge like this, like chasing, I don't remember, like this. So see you in 36 hours to put our salami in the fridge.
Necklace. I knew it was coming. So okay, so he hangs it like this, right? And then after 8 hours at room temperature,
Unfortunately, the meat that I found was not fresh. So yesterday night when I leave the salami at room temperature, they have a nice smell. This morning they are smelling like a dead dog. So I throw all my salamis. It's okay because it's only 1 kilogram of meat, but no choice. So now I will go in another shop
it's just
because the
you
problem
just.
that here in Thailand we
Oh, he's
have
in
no
Thailand. Never mind.
butchery, but I should go in the supermarket. I hope that is in the other that in this other supermarket the meat will be better. And tomorrow morning I will make again the cacciatorini. Don't worry, I don't show you the video, but I will show you when I put them in the fridge. So see you tomorrow.
Okay, so we're back, same place exactly, right?
Same things. I fill the gut with the nail and make the hole in the gut. Now we should hang like this at room temperature. This time I will hang only 8 hours, no more, and after we put in the fridge. I make 4 small, they will dry faster, and 2 bigs, so we can start eating the small one and after the big one, but we will see this in 2-3 weeks. So now
I don't
we're in the
want
room
to. Oh, we're almost
temperature
at the end
and
of the video.
after in the fridge.
So this one actually does successfully dry, right? There's no what's it called? This one doesn't go bad. But I like it was so funny that he had to just throw it away. He just has a stick in there. This is the classic Italian way of testing. You just reach in and squeeze it.
After only 2 weeks, the cacciatorini, a few of them are ready. The small one, they are already dry. Some of them are still soft. So now I cannot resist. I will cut one to taste it. And the other one we will cut maybe next week. If you come close, I can show you that there is a mold, the white mold on the salami. This is why I take the line from other salami that have already the mold. I put together with this. In this way the mold go from the line.
Hold on, let me.
To the salami. Come that we try at least this one because I want to check inside how is going everything. Spectacular. Okay guys, see you next week because I will wait 1 week more to cut one of the bigger, because if you remember, 2 are bigger than this one. Bye bye. Spectacular. After 20 days in the fridge, they are perfect, they are hard but not too much. Also, like already I mentioned, there is the right mold on the skin. I prepare also the ciabatta bread. Now I will test it for you. Usually you should remove the skin. Spectacular. Homemade ciabatta bread plus homemade cacciatorini. Spectacular. Okay guys, remember to subscribe to the channel, to leave my like it, to watch all the other videos. For any question, down in the comments. Bye bye. Spectacular. Also the smell